Uh, Hello, everyone, and welcome to Celo All-Core Dev Call number 10. In this call, we have a few items on the agenda related to the Espresso hard fork that is upcoming. Yeah, and to get started, we'll start out with CIP 50, replay attack protection, and we'll go over this proposal. Ponte, you want to cover it?
Yes. Basically, the idea is to revert one change that we added in the CIP 35. In the CIP 35, we basically make two changes. One was to add the ETH compatible transactions that were more like to be fully compatible with Ethereum. But we also added this like we made mandatory the EIP 155, that it's the replay protection. I think that in that particular moment, nobody thought about the implications that could reach, and all the scenarios that we thought about. It was more like something, or we thought that it was going to be something that probably it was better to be mandatory, mostly because we wanted to avoid even like confusions or problems with users that were sending the same transaction to the Ethereum network or to Celo network. The problem with that is that we basically with the replay protection being mandatory, we basically like the EIP 1820, it's not we are not able to deploy that, for example, which basically it's a registry, the same as we have for Celo, that we already add those registry on the Genesis block. But if someone wants to add a registry in like the same address for every chain that it's Ethereum-like, they can't do it here in Celo because we make the replay protection mandatory. And basically, the idea is if we want to be completely compatible with Ethereum, we have to add we have to remove the mandatory validation about the replay protection. And for example, the RC 777, sorry, that it's like a ERC 20, but they allow you to approve and transfer in the same transaction. They require the EIP 1820. So it's not that we are not allowing one contract, but we have a lot of contract that depends on removing that that mandatory check. And the idea here in this CIP 50, it's at least to remove that in the state transition that we have. That's why we require fork, and the idea is to add this in the Espresso fork. Then one of the things that I added in the, but I think I didn't merge, but in the security concerns, is that we are adding again the possibility of, yes, of the reply attack. But I think that we could face another kind of solutions, like adding a new endpoint, an RPC endpoint for that particular kind of transaction, or even like as Ethereum has right now, they have like a flag that they basically set the replay protection as default. But if you want to have a node that can allow to receive transactions that don't have the replay protection, you can do it running your own node. So I think that if we want to avoid mistakes, we have another tools to do that instead of forcing like every client to have that, right?
Cool.
So basically, it's returning or changing something that we add to be compatible with Ethereum.
Thank you. And if I recall correctly, two different teams also requested this, Superfluid and Orchid and a few other developers opened a ticket, Sella blockchain that, we need to have this kind of feature in order to be able to build more on Celo, right? Um, so is the implementation of this ready in a way?
Yes, we have it in, I think I added a branch. I have to rebase for all the thing that we have in master now, but yes, this, of course, it's like the thing that require a fork.
Right.
If we in the future wants to add it as a different endpoint or a different thing, it's something that we could be able to add it, but this is particular only the part that requires the fork.
Okay, cool. And because of this branch, you just need to rebase it. I'm trying to think more about readiness, because we're going to talk about baklava schedule for Espresso. Would this be part of baklava if we release baklava hard fork on Monday? Okay, cool.
Yes, like the rebase, it's simply it's something that I was going to be like I was going to add like in a few minutes. So
Okay,
like
perfect.
probably in the day will be ready.
Okay, so what I would recommend, because this is something that, is super important for like Celo and people building on Celo, and based on what you told me, this is also like a simple change, right? Right? Right.
Yes.
I don't think this requires a long review period. We can have it for 24 hours and then this can be, adopted as part of the Espresso hard fork. Um, so if anyone has any other feedback and stuff on this proposal, feel free to comment and stuff. And what I'm thinking about doing is basically for the Espresso hard fork, um, once we have it final, I mean, we can still do it in parallel here on the specification side while we're activating it on Baklava. I'll add CIP 50 here as well. And that way we'll have it within the specification, everything will be up to date and we can communicate to any developers that this change is coming and here's the expected timeline that we have to activate it both on testnet and on mainnet. Okay.
Great.
Awesome. Does anyone have any comments or feedback on this specific proposal? I'll take your silence to mean no feedback. So what I'm gonna do now is, let's see, move it to last call, review period, and what's tomorrow? In 2021, 12/03. Yeah, that's December 3rd, which is tomorrow. Create a new branch. CIP 50 last review. Okay, I'll create a pull request, and we'll have it merged at least for the last review period, and then we can take it from there. Okay. Now let's go to any status updates on Espresso CIP 41. Joshua, you want to kick it off?
Yep. Cool. So the Espresso hard fork has we've been working a lot on merging upstream changes. And so that's finally wrapped up. And that's a big component of this hard fork is bringing in all those changes. So at this point, we finished that. And then we expect the last remaining Celo specific changes to be done by the end of this week. So we'll be releasing a Baklava client on Monday with an activation date of December 15th. So we'll need to update all of these block numbers and dates, but December 15th. So that's a week and a half for validators on Baklava to upgrade. Probably do alpha cores in a similar timeline. And then once the Baklava activation has completed. We'll give ourselves a couple days to test and make sure everything's working. And then a mainnet client will go out December 17, December 20. So couple weeks from now is we'll release a mainnet client with an activation block, and we're targeting an activation of February 2nd. So I think that's a Tuesday. Hopefully it's a Tuesday, but the first Tuesday in February, roughly.
Cool. No, that's great. So that gives us probably roughly like a month and a half, roughly, right, in order to activate on mainnet. Okay, cool. Josh, do you know the block number for Baklava so far?
No, I have to go
Okay.
calculate all of those.
Okay, cool. Once you do, can you do me a favor and also update, like, make a pull request here, just for the Baklava block number stuff. And okay, cool. All right, so it looks like we're getting closer to hard fork. I need to modify this to say Espresso hard fork. But yeah, okay, cool. So we're getting closer to the Espresso hard fork. So activation then for anyone who's interested in CIP50 will be roughly February 2nd, assuming everything goes well on testnet hard fork. Any other feedback or questions about this? It's a short call, but it's good to have these community calls so people can ask questions and we can record it for people to review after. Yeah, okay. I'm guessing that means there's no feedback or questions. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, Ponti and Joshua, for your updates on CIP50 and CIP41. Let me stop sharing right now. And let's see. All right, and I want to thank everyone for attending another awkward all-core dev call for Celo. In the future as well, with Mistin Lab, also building on Celo, we're going to try to have a more frequent cadence for all-core dev calls where you have different client teams can have talk about their changes out in the open, probably on a bi-weekly cadence. And I think that's the best way to have, build out in the open and stuff and have people give feedback. And with that, yeah, I want to thank you all and take care.